Hello everyone and welcome back to another tutorial. Today I'm gonna make a simple earring and I will use this to show two things. The earring we want it to be static, so we want it to be not to morph with the figure when we're in Des, so this will be a longer tutorial most likely. I will skip some parts but not much. Yeah, and I also want to show you a bit about the smoothing function and how you can trick this a little bit. So we're going to start with the earring. I also want to show you a bit of a few, or like a few tips and tricks, like starting with a cylinder. This is just the ring in the ear. So I have my cylinder here, and I'm going to set it to 2 sections, so it's basically just one thin ring. We set the points to 12 in this case because I want to fiddle with it a bit. Okay. Now we have size, and we're going to set the size to thickness of 0.02 of whatever units we are working in. And now when we use the thickening tool, by the way, if you want to see what tools I use and the shortcut that I use, it's up here in the corner. So I'm going to set this to the same value, and now we have like a ring. And next part, so first I'm just really doing the ring that goes into the ear. I'm grabbing one of these lines that go around the ring. So the ring basically has has a few different lines. The rings that are segmenting this thing and the ones that go around the whole ring. And I want to grab one of these rings that segments one of these segment pieces basically. Now I'm pressing K, which is the select ring edges function. This is basically this is a standard bind. This is not me. This is a standard bind. And next we're going to vertex modeling, and we're using the connect tool, which I have bound to Alt and A. And what it does is it segments our planes. So basically, to show you what we just did, on this grid, I have like a flat surface, and I have a few different options. So for example, if I go to Tesselate, I can cut this up into different shapes. I can cut from top to bottom and from left to right. I can cut from each corner to the other corner. So I can subdivide this in different ways. But I don't have the option to actually cut this up only lengthwise or only horizontal or only vertical if I want to. With Tesselate at least. What I can do is I can grab the edges that I want, and I can use the connect tool, which will then neatly cut them down in the middle. This is what the connect tool actually does, basically. So back to our ring. I'm grabbing the form, I'm grabbing the select edges tool, and I'm grabbing one of the edges we just made. So basically all of these go around the length. One is on the inside, one on the outside, one on the top, one on the bottom. I'm grabbing the one on the top first. One of these, press L to get the whole loop. Go into front view and pull this up a bit. Okay, I'm going into world manipulator. Now we're grabbing the one on the downside, pulling this down a bit, and you can see that this is already getting rounder. We're grabbing the one on the inside, and now we're using the scale manipulator, the little red button in the middle. Pull this just a tiny bit to make it smaller, and we're going to pull or push rather with the scale factor to the other one on the outside. Okay, this is our ring, and if I smooth this down now, I have a really good ring. Okay, we're not smoothing this down now anyway. I just wanted to show you. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to move this 90 degrees to the side. Then sometimes things get lost. I don't know why. I have no idea. Sometimes they just do. Okay, I'm going to angle this a bit into the ear. Okay, looks good so far. Yeah, this is okay. And next thing is we are going to deform this a bit. I'm grabbing a few edges here, basically on the downside of this. So basically my goal on this is that so these segments are basically symmetrical. So I'm using the topmost segmentation line group in the ear to have like a point where I connect to the ear later on, and I will on the other side I will deform this a bit to make a simple shape out of it. And I'm using the extrusion tool, which is bound to Control G for me. And now if I just click once and on the green ball, and then I stop clicking, I have basically segmented this whole thing. On the ground I have like additional faces here around the edge that I just grabbed, and I'm going to grab these next. And this is basically what I want to work with. I'm going to pull them down just slightly. Okay. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna grab the corner points of this and just make them smaller, basically make them pull them in a bit with the scale tool again, so that this is also more or less round. I'm going to select the faces tool here. Okay, and we're going to extrude this 2 times or maybe 3 times and a short extrusion here. This is basically the hoop, the form of the hoop. It's really basic. I could have just set like a chain here instead, but actually let's do this. Going to go back. Okay. Okay, so we're going to save this at this point. And let's do a little chain. So I'm going to grab another cylinder. Let's make it a bit smaller. Again, 2 sections. 8 points per section is fine for what we're gonna do. Gonna turn this 90 degrees. Now it doesn't jump for some weird reason. I don't know. Okay. We're gonna make a chain link from this. So we're gonna turn this 90 degrees as well. Okay, so far so good. We're going to thicken this to 0.02 as well. We wanted to have it the same. Actually, no. Let's do 0.01. So it has half the thickness of the hoop. And before we thicken this, we are going to put this into shape. So what we're going to do is, first we're going to scale it a bit so it's more oval. I think oval is the word that I'm looking for. Okay, and then I'm grabbing the top 2 faces, and I'm going to turn them just a bit. I'm going to grab the lowermost faces, and I'm turning them the other way just a bit. So now I have like this cross from the top, and yeah, this is all I want. Okay, now I'm going to thicken this to the same thickness that it has outside. Actually do this on the inside, and we're going to do the same thing as before. Wait, this didn't work. Okay. Yeah, make the outside a bit bigger, make the inside a bit smaller. I'm going to selection mode because now I can pull this basically with the blue in selection mode. I can pull with if I pull the blue coordinate, I can basically pull this from the center, which is what I want. Let's grab the other side as well. Pull this back just a bit. Okay, back into world mode, and we're going to smooth this down, see how it looks. And yeah, this looks actually, so it doesn't look like a chain, but it chains with itself, which is what we want. Okay, we're going to name these now. Hoop and link. First want to make a welder joke in the comments. I don't know. Yeah, first want to make a welder joke in the comments. I don't know. Is like a really good sentence. Okay. Now we're going into the selection mode, and we're staying in the selection mode. Going to select the whole object, and using Ctrl V to copy, Ctrl V to paste. Now here's an interesting thing. By the way, before we do this, we should do something else. If you press Ctrl D, you get a clone. You get direct clone, so it's like one step left. But they have this weird C here, which I have no idea. So what I'm thinking, I'm not really sure, is like if I manipulate this, yeah. So basically, what you do is you manipulate all the objects that have a C marked. But you can basically, after you do this, you can basically unclone these. And now if I grab one of these and manipulate it, it only gets manipulated this one. So if you basically do something and you want to manipulate all of them, you can use the Ctrl D, the clone function. Otherwise you can Ctrl V and Ctrl V if you want to manipulate just one of the objects. For example, if you build something and you copy it to the other side of the head, then you want to do Ctrl V, Ctrl D, or at least unclone this first by pressing on the Z. Okay, before we go any further, we actually want to set up the UV map right here. For something like this, for object, I'm usually grabbing like so on basically 2 dimensions. One is around the ring, and one is also around one is segmenting. So I'm grabbing one of the segmentation rings, and I'm grabbing one of the rings that goes around the length of this. And this is not the ring I want. I want this one on the inside. And now we're going to unfold this. I have this also bound to Alt and B, but in this case I'm using the function. And you can see that the seams we want are already set. So we're going to hit unfold, accept, and I mean we can go over this map if we want, but since this is a minor detail in the whole render, this is really small. This will be small. It will be a few pixels depending on how close you are, but for me, for full body renders, this is not much. So this UV map is fully fine. You also have to click new to make it a new material, because now you have just the map, but you haven't made it a material. We're calling this chain links. We're going to hit accept. Okay. Back to our 4 views. Top. By the way, if you have the UV map open and, for example, you work on the detail of this, like you have something selected, and you go into the UV map, usually it unselects whatever you have unselected. So sometimes having the UV map open can unselect your stuff. So if that happens, best is to go back to whatever you usually have in this viewport. Okay. Now we're going to copy paste these. Okay. We're going to unclone them. And next thing is the actual earring, jewelry, whatever. Okay. And this is what I actually want to show you. So it's a good thing we're already at 60 minutes. Okay, I'm going to take a cube for this, for reasons. Okay. My cube. Control A selects all the faces. Control A select all is also already set. And we're going to tessellate this at the cross. So far so good. I'm grabbing all the corners next, and I'm going to go back to world mode, and I'm going to pull the top corners in, a bit down. Going to pull the corners down as well, a bit in, this one a bit up, and you can already see that it is getting rounder. Okay, going to need to pull those down a bit more. Okay. And what I want to do is basically something like this shape here. One thing I need to do is I need to make a few extra cuts from... Oh no. Oh no. Everything's fine. Okay. But I just thought that maybe the whole thing is going to crash. But lucky for us it didn't. Okay. Hello? Boy. Okay. Okay, so you can basically see the base shape at the end that I want. Yeah, like this crystal, and okay, let's make this a bit smaller, a bit more down, this a bit smaller. Okay, so if we smooth this down, let's save this again. What's gonna happen is it's not gonna be pointy. Whoop! It's kind of pointy. Okay. But we want it to be more defined in the pointiness. So actually what we're going to do is we're going to smooth this down. And now we have two options. We can grab the point and we can say dissociate. and we have basically the pointiness we want. Or we can do something else, which I'm going to show you today, basically in a new tool, if you so want. Okay, did I get everything? Looks good. Looks good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Okay. We are going to the... I need to find it. Surface modeling. Surface modeling. And the smoothing function, or smooth function. Okay. And what it does is, as soon as you hit this function with the face is selected, same as with the other tool. So basically, it selects the it selects the edges you have, and it unsmootheth them. So basically, this is basically the range is the whole thing. And what I did is I basically set an exception for the faces that I have. Okay, hitting accept. And now I'm basically having my object, and this is rather smooth, except for the but he breaks the smoothing at the selected lines, the selected edges. So I get this pointy thing. Okay, now we are in Des Studio, as you can see. And here's a little thing. I have this render scene, this import scene completely set up. It has Genesis 2 male and female in it in complete white. The render setting is set to 3D light. And here's a little trick. This is the usual spot for any figure, the 0 spot. My figure is a bit moved back, and this has a very simple reason. If I import my object now, simple pointy earring. Here we go. I finished the model. So basically, I just set up another copy of the chain, made it smaller, and put it into the jewel, as well as giving everything a texture map. So it is imported at the zero space where I worked on it in Hexagon, and where it imports it into Des Studio. And it's not on Genesis 2 female, which is what I want, because now if I go to the transfer utility object, choose source as Genesis 2 female and target as simple pointy earring, let's say this is headwear, he transfers the object to the Genesis 2 female, so I see which objects, if multiple, I already have connected. This is just a visual aid for me, but if you think this is helpful, you can set it up similarly. Okay, now we're getting to the interesting problem. So I have Genesis 2, I'm going to shape her, let's say the Keiko body. And as you can see, our earring already starts to deform. You can see that this earring is deforming, and we don't want that. So if I shape the head, for example, it gets even more pronounced. Let's check out the hoop here. You can see that it is completely distorted, and we don't want that. So we're going into how to fix this. We're going to reset the shape of Genesis 2 as well. Okay. So step 1 is the same as before. With the hair, we are going to set up some bones. I'm going to skip that part and just show you the results. So I'm making currently making the groups, and here's a little trick. We're in the geometry editor, and we are using Control Shift and the asterisk. So no, step 1, we're selecting one single face on the hoop, and I'm pressing Control Shift and the asterisk, and what it does, it selects all connected vertices, so the whole hoop, and I'm going to select set these to hoop. And for the chain, I could, or if I'm good, I'm doing 3 different face groups, because I'm doing 3 different bones, but in this case I want to be a bit quicker, so I'm setting 1. Yeah, and yeah, you can basically skip that part or you can fasten that part by saying Control Shift asterisk, and then you have everything that is connected selected. Doesn't work if you want to subdivide an object that has multiple or that has one big face that you want to subdivide. Okay, bones are set up. We have hoop, chain, and pointy. They have not completely the same name, so I obviously named one face group link, but I named it here chain, so that's doesn't matter as long as I know what what is. We're going to memorize figure rigging. At this point, we're going into node weight map brushing. We're going to fill bone by selection group. Okay, so far so good. Now it's getting interesting. We're going to select the object, right clicking on scene, assets, and we are going to clear all generated morphs. So what it basically does is, if I shape my Genesis to female, it generates a morph for the simple pointy earring as well, that conforms to the relations of the bones to each other. So basically it says, okay, this bone is this much units from the other bone in distance, so I'm going to have to keep that distance, and this is why the whole thing deforms in the first place. And I just said, okay, I don't want any morphs, clear those. Now that thing would generate it again, unless we're going to do about this. Something about this. So we're going to the geometry editor again. We're going to select all the face groups. We're going to right click and go into the geometry selection, and we're going to convert these. So right now we have polygons and we want vertices. So we're going to convert to a vertex selection. You can also see that my active tool now jumps to vertex selection. Okay. What we're going to do now is basically, instead of working on the faces that we worked before, we're working on the whole structure of this thing. We're going to work on the whole, we're going to work on the whole structure. And okay. Let me think for a bit. Okay. Next. We are going to create a Wait. Okay, a step back. We're not just going to click on these, we're going to click on all the pluses. So we have all of them marked, and then we're going to geometry selection, convert selection, and to vertice selection. So now you can see that we have that everything is marked. Basically, what we did now is we changed really from we're going from faces to points, basically from the manipulation point standpoint. From select faces to select points. Basically, it's not completely that, but it's close. Okay. Now right click and oh no. We are going to make a rigidity group for no. Yeah, we're going to make a rigidity group from the selected. We are calling this earring. Okay. Now, what it basically does is it says, okay, rigidity means how much the object deforms. And what we just did is we said, hey, for this object, everything that is currently marked, or everything of this mesh between all the points that we just marked, we want all of this to be of one rigidity group. The only problem is he doesn't know where to so what Des doesn't know is how is it going to deform it if there is a deformation, if a morph is happening. What am I going to do with this? And this is what we are going to do next. Actually, let me turn off the bones for this one. Okay. What we're gonna do is okay. This is the whole thing, right? Okay, we're going to select the wireframe, and you can basically see that our object is subdivided into really small pieces. So smoothing basically just adds a lot more groups that we don't see. What we're going to do now is really hard, because we are going to try with this pointy thing we have. We're going to try to select just one of these dots. So basically, if I click here, I have like 2, and we're going to try and locate the outer part of the ring that we just grab one of these, and especially one in the ear. So right now this one overlaps, this is inside the ear, which is exactly what we want. And we're going to add this one vertices to the reference. So this says references actually. So participant, everyone is participating in this. Every single point of this is participating in the morphing. But it basically just says, hey, this one point I selected, if the figure gets morphed, what does this point do? And this point doesn't crumble. This point cannot, so it's only one point. So in relation to itself, it cannot deform, it cannot, it can move. It can move in relation to its normal position. What it can't do is it can't deform in any way, because it's just a point. And this is what we just did. We basically said, hey, if this point is moving, move all of these points. If this point is deforming in itself, deform everything, but this can't happen. We just said, hey, you can't morph. Yeah. Okay. We're going back into texture shaded. Okay, we have these 2 references. We are going to the weight map tool again, node weight map brush. And what we now need is a rigid map for this. So we have everything selected. That is perfect. And what we're going to do is right click at we are right clicking here. We're going into add map here, this button here. Let me wait. Okay, so we need actually this button, and what it does, it adds a rigid group. It adds a rigid map. Right click, weight editing, fill selected, and we're going to say fill this by 100%, which basically means basically we just had to reset the fact that if I move a bone, move it. Basically nothing else. But we have to reset this after we made a new rigid map, because we deleted the other ones. There's usually some here, but we deleted them when we put a new rigid. When we did this thing, we reset. We killed the maps basically. This is what we did. Okay, we're going back to the geometry editor. We're going to the geometry assignment. Okay, actually, let me grab that thing. Geometry assignment. Rigidity group editor. And this doesn't look like much. Basically, we're just confirming for Dev Studio that we actually know what we're doing. So transform bones. Right click, add transformation bone. The hoop. This is the bone where we set up our point. So basically, we say, hey, if you transform anything, please refer to this bone, and this bone refers to its reference point. Okay. And that's basically it, which, yeah, this was a lot, I know. Watch it a few times, probably. Okay. The rest is simple pointy earrings. Metallic, please. I would like to take my metal, my golden metal. Okay, the jewel actually glossy metallic, and let's check my gemstones. Why not amethyst? So. Oh yeah, because it clashes with the background, I remember. Yeah. Okay. File, save as, support asset, figure prop asset. If you want a good thing, at this point, don't do what I did and save everything in one big folder. Do a folder structure. It's so much better than what I did. I'm just not doing copying and organizing everything. This is like I would have to do hours of just reorganizing everything. So and I'm not going to start now, at least not with Genesis 2. Okay. Category is default accessories. Jewelry. Accept. Okay, now it should in theory be here. There it is. Pointy earring. Perfect. So I can delete this. I can add this. I can rotate this. By the way, if you say, okay, I don't want the rotation on this one, you can basically just lock this one, and now I can't grab the wrong one. You can also basically just go into parameter settings and say, hey, there's a maximum value, and now I can't go over 90 degrees. So basically, if you want to set up something like this, something like hair or bones, and you say, okay, I want to have some values here so it just doesn't rotate completely and unhinged, you can do so if you go on the rotation you want to manipulate, and open the parameter settings, and then use the values that you think are right. And you can change them anyway later on. Yeah. Okay. Final test. See, doesn't shape. And so this is interesting. If I shape the head, you can see that the whole thing moves with the ear, because the one point is moving in relation to, so the one portion is moving in relation to the bones involved, and that means that this is always stuck in the ear. We're not going to lose it in some weird way, but it's not going to deform, which is what we wanted. Okay, I'm sorry, this is way longer than expected and anticipated. I hope this helped you for your own endeavors, and if you have any questions, feel free to bombard me in the comments. Until then, again, there's a stream where I will probably do I'll have a live stream next month on the 14th, so if you want to check this out, join me for some 3D creation. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and see you guys around.